Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and we are here for another amazing makeup related video. Today we're going to talk about my makeup palette usage so far for January and February. If that is something that interests you, well then stick around, grab yourself a drink, and let's go. Today I am drinking this Poppy Classic Cola prebiotic soda. I do not like all of their brand stuff, but this one I actually really enjoy. Now I haven't had an RC Cola in quite a lot of time, so this might not be completely accurate, but from my memory of the taste of RC Cola, this reminds me of that. So if you like RC Cola, maybe give it a try, maybe see if I'm completely on base or if I'm completely off base. So grab yourself a drink, a snack, and let's see how my eyeshadow palette usage has been going. So I'm going to give you guys the totals at the end, but we're gonna go through, I'm gonna show you each of the palettes that I've used, how many times I've dug into them, and I'm gonna break it down. So this first section is January, then February, then the grand total. All right, let's see. How many palettes do you think in January and February I dug into? And how many times do you think I dug into them? Do you think I dug into a lot of palettes, but maybe only one time each? Or do you think I stuck to my tried and true palettes and just stuck with those? Leave your guesses below and let's find out if you were right. Okay, so these are in no particular order other than their total usage. So for January, these are the palettes I used one time each. We have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. I don't remember the shades that I used, but probably some browns, maybe the pink. I don't know, but we used this one once. We used the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Candlelit Burgundy palette. Then we used the Natasha Denona Cupid palette. This one was used towards the end of the month as I was trying to figure out looks for Valentine's Day. Then we used the e.l.f. 18 Hit Wonder palette. I'm not entirely sure which shade I used, but I do think it was either the blue, green, or yellow, but I could be completely off base with that. Then we have the Juvia's Place, the Bronze Rustic. Used every shade in here one time, but it counts as one use. The Aurora Struck palette from ColourPop. And finally, in our one use for January, the Essence Hollow Berlin palette. Then moving on to two uses per palette for January, we have Juvia's Place, the Blushed Rose. This one made quite a few cute Valentine's-y looks. Then ColourPop's Bare Necessities. This one is a staple. I am shocked I only used it twice, but I had some other palettes I was using, okay? So this thing is a mess. It is used all the time, but for January, I only dug into it twice. The Nomad Iceland Fire and Ice palette, which, just so you're aware, this one is going to be discontinued soon. It is already running low in stock. I do not know if they are restocking that one at any point. And the Ghost Hounds USA, also from Nomad. This one was also used 2 times in January. This one is also running low in stock, and they have said that they will restock this in probably late September. But if you want it before then, you should probably go get it now. Those were all the 1 use and 2 use for January. We have one more palette for January. How many uses do you think I got in it? So the last palette for January is the Violet Voss All of You Forever. This is currently in my project, let's see, what is it called? It's Project Level Up. And so I made some significant progress in it for January. I reached for this quite often with several other palettes as well, for a grand total of 12 separate uses. I am still really enjoying this palette. I am trying to get all of the uses so that I can level this up and out, and we are getting pretty close. That brings the January totals. Are you ready? used a total number of palettes 12 times, or 12 different palettes, a total of 27 times. Now, if you watched any of my update videos in February about my January usage, you heard me say over and over again that I didn't use eyeshadows all that much. I didn't do makeup all that much. It was a horrible January. And that is still true, even though these numbers look like it's not true, because most of these days I dug into several palettes. So that's how the numbers for January are quite high. Let's move on to February. Were you even close with January's numbers? Let's see how you do in February. Maybe you'll get better. All right, for February, do you think I stayed with those same palettes or do you think I switched it up? Well, there's at least a couple changes. So for February's one-time use palettes, I have ColourPop's Smokin' Hot Mega Palette. Then we have the e.l.f. One Hit Wonders again. Again, we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. This one was very helpful for Valentine's Day looks. Again, the Natasha Denona Cupid. Also, again, the CoverGirl Clean Fresh in Candlelight Burgundy. And the No My Cosmetics Ghost Towns USA is there again. We used the Ace Boutte Nostalgia palette one time. Beautiful, stunning colors. I'm actually shocked I didn't use it more, but we'll have to see how March is doing. Then for 2 uses in February, we only have one palette, and that is the Juvia's Place Bronzed Rustic. This palette is being used because it is, amazing palette, but also because it is in one of the project pans. Then for February's 3 uses each, we have Bare Necessities, again from ColourPop. Again, super messy, but I use this with many looks. The Violette Voss All of You Forever is again here, as well as the Juvia's Place The Blushed Rose for 3 uses. And the Essence Hello Berlin for 3 uses. This one went on a girls trip with me, and that's why I ended up getting the 3 uses. Otherwise, it would have been at only 1. Last in the February, as well as in this category, for 3 uses, we have the Garfield palette. This one was very fun to play with. Made a few different Valentine's looks with it. I haven't tried the blue. Purple. I haven't tried all of the shades in here, but I am absolutely loving this palette so far. And this one was also 3 uses, which means we didn't have a standout palette like we did the previous month, but this month's uses, with the exception of, I believe, the Bare Necessities, were all used by themselves. So each time it was used for that whole palette or the shades in that one palette for that day's look, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Let's see, that means February we dug into 13 different palettes for total uses of 24. Our combined totals, guys, for January and February meant that I dug into 15 different palettes across 2 different months. I think that's really good. I am very impressed. I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied with that variety of uses. And that means that we use these palettes that I just showed you a total of 51 times. That's amazing, guys. I'm very happy to see that. I like to see this type of content for myself because it helps me track my uses, make sure I'm actually getting use out of the stuff I'm buying, and it kind of also lets me see where each month my inspiration is and what I gravitate towards. So obviously the things that we use the least were the one palettes, but the standout palette for these 2 months was definitely that Violette Voss. But to be fair, that's because it is in a project. As much as I enjoy that palette, I don't think I would be using it nearly as much during these last 2 months because I feel like it's more of a fall palette than a spring or winter and springtime palette. If you enjoy this and you want me to continue to give you updates like this, let me know in the comments, and we will talk more about palettes and other makeup stuff in my next videos. If you like this, make sure you are subscribed and hit the thumbs up button, and we will talk very, very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.